Hi everyone, it's Natasha from the Cozy Cushion. I'm here to do an introduction video as an intro because I'm assuming some of you know me very well. You may have been a co-worker. You may have known me because I was your cashier when I worked at Canadian Tire. You're probably a family or a friend member, and if not, you probably know me from a gym where I worked at Curves and a health club here in my province of Nova Scotia. You might have been my neighbor, or you might have had a reading with me when I've given out readings. So I'm kind of glad that you're all joining me today. I really, really appreciate you tuning in and listening to my message. I hope to share more and more because it's a process I dedicated myself to when my mom passed away. I decided when that happened, and a few other things happened in my life that were a big deal, that I would live my full-time purpose and I would become my best me, and I would do something that I've always wanted to do and that I've dreamt about. And it's really important to me. So I've posted that on my YouTube. I posted that on my Cozy Cushion Facebook page, as well as if you're my personal friend, you've probably seen it now and again on my Facebook page. So thank you so much for joining me. Some of you have known me just a little while, and some of you have known me a long time, just a few years. So for those that don't know me, I'm going to bring you up to speed because there might be gaps in, gaps in what my purpose is here to talk about the Cozy Cushion. So basically, the Cozy Cushion is a dream I hope to create. I'm the creator of the Cozy Cushion, and I'm here today to tell you an introduction of what that is and what it means to me and why I've been dreaming about this. So a little bit about me. My name's Natasha Greenough. I was born and raised on a dairy farm in Hants County, Nova Scotia, and I loved that about my life. I grew up with big dogs, Newfoundlands and Great Pyrenees, and also dairy cows. What some of you know about me and some of you don't know is I don't love dairy cows. I like them, they're fantastic, but I love beef cows. So much so, when I was a little girl, I used to teach my animals all how to stand and to be proud and to not be scared of anything because I wanted some titles. I wanted to do some winning. I wanted to have a dog that was best in show. My breed is the Dog de Bordeaux. So some of you may know me from the Hearts for Hoots Foundation, which is a recycling program that I have to do great things that I'm interested in. Also in beef cows, I also wanted to show beef cows. So I wanted to wear an incredible gown. I don't dress up, I'm rather a tomboy. But when it comes to dogs and cows, I see myself in a beautiful gown, dressed to the hilt, my hair done to the nines, and taking them in a show ring and winning a lot. And that's always been a huge, huge dream. So a little more about me that's not as exciting, that gives me experience in my life, has been my parents' divorce, having to move from my family farm. Very young, I was diagnosed with manic depression. So I've suffered from depression most of my life, starting very, very young, as well as anxiety, severe anxiety at times. So I've learned a lot over the years, and I've become very passionate about mental health during the years for a variety of reasons. My sister, that is younger than me, has a special needs daughter, and she loves certain things. So the Cozy Cushion has a little bit to do with a passion for mental health. That's why it's very vitally important for our community. I was also a single mom. I had my first son, Justin, very, very young. And I had to figure it out. And I learned a lot. So with that, I was also growing up, and I had some traumas, and I also grew to have some addictions. some of which grew from something as simple as has been my wisdom tooth out. I was prescribed medication at that time that I really, really liked. And so I have a lot of experience with addictions as well, in and out of the gym, as well as my own life, in a deep, deep, valuable way. I've seen a lot, and I experience the emotions surrounding addictions and what they do to our families and friends. And I really love the idea of transformational therapy, which is another thing that the Cozy Cushion is loving. So with all that, being a young single mom and party animal, I love to celebrate, you know. My depression didn't show up in being sad all the time. Sometimes it showed up in dangerous behavior, such as driving when I was younger, eating. I had an eating disorder. I like to not eat and sleep, as you know, that kind of went with my addictions as well. So I came across some traumas, which I'm not going to talk about today, but it does connect me to the Cozy Cushion and my vision board. So if you've seen a picture of my vision board, this is all going to tie together for us. And then most importantly, the last thing, my why with the Cozy Cushion, is healing. So when I was a young person, I obviously grew up, as we all do, and I never had, it took me a long time to find my place in the world. And one of the things that I'm most grateful for is the choices that I've made that were hard. And one of those choices was to find a job when I was on welfare. And when I needed to find a job, it was really, really hard for a variety of reasons. But I started to find my tribe members, and I found a gym, and I started to work out. And I started to get healthier, stronger, more connected, and I met some cool people. Me and my mom had some issues. Me and my mom had a love-hate relationship, and it was really hard, especially during my teenage years when I knew everything. And my mom was trying to do her best, and I'm not a good listener. So those who know me personally knows I'm a very independent person. Natasha does what Natasha wants when Natasha wants to do it. So I had some mom issues, and another reason I really love the idea of the Cozy Cushion is because when I found Curves for Women, which was one of my first gyms, I was surrounded by women. So I learned empathy and compassion, and they loved me, accepted me, and really nurtured me in some of the ways I felt as though me and my mom had struggled. I felt that I was let down. I was very angry, like uber angry, like kickboxing, fist fighting angry, which is another part of my passion. I also learned that I really love fighting and tactical sports and UFC and kickboxing. So some of you know me from kickboxing, which is fantastic. That's one of my favorite tribes that I've actually found love in. And I had a fantastic teacher, and she knows who she is. And yeah, that's another great story and another reason why I want to create the Cozy Cushion. So some of you have been also my neighbors, so you know me in real life. So you've seen me at the bus stop. You've seen me, you've seen me in a personal way because, a neighbor, sometimes we know our neighbors. And my neighbors have always been fantastic. So thank you to my neighbors that have actually lived by me. I really appreciate you always. And some of you know me through my readings. So I'm going to explain readings in a different video because they are going to be a part of the Cozy Cushion, because this is a dream that's going to take money that I don't have. So I got to figure out a way to generate income and a way to bring this dream into a reality for our community. So basically the Cozy Cushion is just a place to go. It's a gym, a nature gym, where we have dogs. We have the dog de Bordeaux running around, and a horse barn, and we have horses, and I have a fondness for the gypsy cob, which is wispy and mystical and magical. And I see these animals in this environment at the Cozy Cushion while we're working out. I also, some of you may and may not know, I'm also a family business owner. We created Raven Construction, a construction company, back in 2019, prior to the pandemic. And so I hope that my construction company is going to actually be able to physically build the Cozy Cushion dream. So I'm going to tell you all about that and what we're going to be building and how much, we're going to need money and we're going to need a lot of things. So basically the Cozy Cushion is a place to go where we're going to empower, engage, just like this, and we're going to enhance and educate everything that's us. That's me, that's you, that's everybody in our community, our nurses, our doctors, our teachers, and it's going to be a place to go. I believe it's going to be a private environment that's going to be nurturing and therapy based. And it's going to educate on mental health and mental strength, physical strength, and those components. One of my mentors is Dr. Daniel Amen, and he is a strong believer in taking care of your brain and brain health. And that's one of the things that I learned with my depression and my anxiety is when I exercised, I became more powerful and stronger. And I want everybody to learn everything that I've ever learned that has helped me. And most of the things I've picked up have been from friends, family, and stuff that have seen me go through it. The depression and how my life has kind of affected me in a negative way and how we all need a place to go. So that's the Cozy Cushion, the idea of that. Sorry, this is a live video. I'm just going to have a little drink. And you should all be drinking your water. So when you look at the picture, I'm just going to give you a walkthrough of the Cozy Cushion from my eyes and how I've been dreaming it up. So the Cozy Cushion is a farmland. It's agricultural. But it's also going to house a business that's not corporate. It's not commercial. I don't want it to be commercial. I want it to be timber frame, timber built, like the old-fashioned barn. So these gym ideas are actually barns, per se. So there's a few of them on this property, and there's also a horse stable that houses the dogs as well. So it's kind of little Budweiser feeling to it. It's a big barn. It's got like 8 stalls, and it's also got a dog kennel as well. And these horses and dogs and a few beef cows are going to just occupy the property in general. They're going to walk around. We're going to know them. We're going to love them. We're going to feed them treats. We're going to pat them. We're going to brush them. We're going to ride them. The horses, not the dogs. But we're going to, we're going to enjoy this environment together. And I just see it in a very personal way. It's a very personal thing to me. So the Cozy Cushion is going to have these animals, but it's also going to have places to go. So the first thing I want to really, really pursue is a basketball court. An NBA size, barn-built, timber frame, lots of windows, with a full fitness facility with the treadmills, the plyometric jump boxes, the medicine balls, the springboards, everything you need to do the training in an NBA-size court that our community can come and play on, as well as families, because I believe that families can talk and play basketball, as well as we can challenge each other. We can create teams of all ages, right past, the age of when our teenagers are graduating high school. One of my saddest experiences is watching my son's basketball team and the graduates when he made varsity, and those graduating kids graduating. My heart was just like, where are they going to, I want a place for them to go after they graduate to still play, still nurture that drive, so yeah, there's a basketball court, full fitness facility, lots of windows, total timber strength, timber beams, lots of light, and plants. I'm a plant fanatic. As well as gardens and stuff outside. So it's visually absolutely welcoming. Lots of trees as well. And so we've got the stables, we've got a walking track. I would like about 10 miles of just terrain where we can just walk. We can walk with those dogs, we can walk with the horses, we can walk with ourselves and each other, or completely alone. All hours of the day. Just gives you a place to go in nature and just be, and be safe, you know. On this property, I would like it to get bigger because I believe in celebration. I'm a party animal. I love to celebrate everything. Anybody that knows me knows my birthday is my favorite time of the year. And my birthday is my favorite time of the year because I wasn't always happy to be here. My depression when I was younger caused me to really not like being alive. That's why I love drugs. It's because I was really hoping for an easy way out for a long, long, long time. And when that shifted for me, it was like, wow, you know, I'm so glad that I stayed. And not only did I stay each year that I'm here, I don't feel that pain anymore because I found a way throughout a lot of years, a lot of trials and tribulations, to find the pieces of my puzzle and put it back together so it works today, which is my goal for everybody listening today. No matter who you are, where you are, what age you are, this will be a great place for all of us. So yeah, we were just at the gym, the basketball court, and then we're just going to move on to the hydrotherapy pool. This pool is fantastic. Let me tell you, it's a place where we can race, we can swim. Anyone that has special needs, it's going to be safe, you know, and we're going to be able to get exercise. People that struggle in the gym, a lot of them love to swim. And I'm going to tell you a story about my best friend before the end of this, and why the hydrotherapy pool is so important. But the hydrotherapy pool is going to be fantastic. There's a waterfall at the end. I'm a huge waterfall fanatic, so we've got to have a waterfall feature here. There's 2 waterfalls, actually, one on each side, so that when we're swimming in the hydrotherapy pool and we're coming up to the end, there's a waterfall, and we can push off and we can come back and forth, and it's just gonna feel so good for everybody. There's lots of windows, there's rocks, because of the way the pool needs to be built, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be well lit, and it's just going to be a really magical place to be at ease. So after we leave the hydrotherapy pool room, which is all timber built, the timber, we're going to move on to the yoga space. That's also a conference space, group fitness space, and a meeting space for all kinds of retreats and education, basically, as well. So this is a huge, and dances. We cannot forget the barn dances. So inside this big conference hall is a big, huge spiral light. Huge. It just illuminates the whole place, and it's a great big spiral, and it's kind of the focal point. There's 4 or 5 of them along the ceiling, but they just illuminate into each other. There's also skylights in this building. It's fantastically huge. It has numerous sets of big double doors so that we can open them up and we can have weddings and birthdays and potlucks and dances and live music and acrobats. We could do yoga and acro yoga and do nothing at all yoga. We can lay on the floor and just be. We can sit, we can meditate, we can have teachers come, and we can sit in nothing at all in this space. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Once again, it's going to be timber framed, and everything's all one level. You know, so it's wheelchair accessible. I have so many friends in wheelchairs, and I have friends that have limitations, as you know, with their health and their physical, the way they physically maneuver through the world. but this place, they can come. They can play everything. They can dance. They can play basketball. They can swim. They can even enjoy the horses and patting the animals. So it's so therapeutic. So now that I've kind of given you all this and just kind of invited you in for this chat today, which I'm so glad that you came in and you've enjoyed staying with me for 20 minutes now. So thank you so much. Before I end though, the whole reason that I'm here today is because there's a sense of urgency. I'm 48 years old. My son is a teenager, and I want to do this sooner than later. So I don't want to sit on it. I sat on it my whole life. You know, the barns was the first thing, then the dogs and the cows. Then, you know, I mean, reality, I have to live my real life. You know, I have to run my business. I have to care for my children and my grandchildren. And I want them to see me do this. I want them to help me cut that ribbon with you all while we cheer and celebrate. I also swear, so my disclaimer is if you're ever listening, I swear, it's just me. I encourage you to be the same. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a sip of my coffee. I hope you're having coffee as well, because you are obviously still listening. At the Cozy Cushion, we're also gonna have a place too where we can get a coffee and sit down and chat to anybody at any time. So there's always going to be people around that want to volunteer their time to help the world. That's another video altogether, which I'll do at some point, especially when we're getting closer to achieving the dream. So I just want to talk about my couple of my mentors and my why. When life has knocked me down the hardest, there's been a person, I used to work at a gym, and I got pregnant later in life. So I had my second son 15 years after my first. And that wasn't easy. And during that time, I was a housekeeper. And so I had a full-time job working at a gym. And I was also a housekeeper. So I helped clean usually three people's houses. One of these people was named Ruby Maxine Campbell. Let me tell you what, when I became Ruby's housekeeper, I was already cleaning for one of Ruby's doctors, podiatrist, that I became close friends with. She was a traveler, and she was glamorous and tall and beautiful. And this person had said, you really need to meet this person. I was like, oh, I'm really, I'm, kind of pulled too thin. I don't think I have time. And they're like, well, you just need to meet her. So reluctantly, I had got in touch with Ruby, and I said, hi, Ruby, I'm Natasha. So-and-so said that maybe I could help you out with a little bit of housework because you're VON and people that are helping you just want some more private help. And Ruby was like, yes, oh, please come. I really need you. And she really laid it on. I mean, laid it on like, poof. If it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it was loaded with sugar. She was like, you've got to come meet me. So I was pregnant with my son, Destin, very, very early on in the pregnancy. I was still working at Curves for Women, and I was kickboxing, so I was in the best shape of my life. And I met Ruby, and Ruby was bedridden. She lived in a one-bedroom apartment that was beautiful. She had all her doctor and everybody come and see her. And she suffered tremendously from severe rheumatoid arthritis. So if you know me, and you know me personally, you probably know Ruby, because if I haven't talked about her, you've seen us. My Ruby, let me tell you, Ruby's going to be a huge part of this, and you're going to love it. You're going to grow to love her. She's now passed away, but let me tell you how I met Ruby. So I met Ruby, and she was bedridden. I was pregnant. That's another story in another video altogether. And I was single, per se, during this time. So I was going through a lot, and I was working full time, and I was already a single mom of a teenage boy, and let me tell you, the lessons were plenty, okay? But at this point, my addictions were helped by being in the gym and my tribe of women. So I'd gotten really better, still rough, but it's a lot of years. So, I'm pregnant, I meet Ruby, and she's bedridden, and she just needs a little help with her housework. So I'm like, okay. So I speak with Ruby and I see her hands, she can't do anything with her hands. And at this time she had a wheelchair, but she really didn't have the strength to get to the wheelchair a lot of the time. And her staff really did a lot for her. And so I come in, I met Ruby, and let me tell you, we hit it off like fireworks, like immediate best friends. Immediate. Like, I seen her as this vibrant older woman that just had so many fantastic stories and fire. She was very feisty. Like, I thought I was feisty, but let me tell you, anyway, I seen Ruby in a different light than anybody else had seen her. So, and I noticed all the staff coming and going and what they did and didn't do for her and that sort of thing. And I was like a little fly on the wall. I was in a learning environment. I was like, oh, what's this, and Ruby loved paying me. She would give me $5 more, immediately. She said, whatever it is you want, I'll pay you. And I was like, all right, well, $15 an hour. And at that time it was a lot. Like, that was a lot. I felt bad even asking for it, but I really needed it because I needed to figure stuff out because I was having a new baby. And so within a few days of working with Ruby, I was cleaning her house. I noticed that she really liked hanging out with me. And I was kind of like, this is really hard to clean her house, and she likes being with me. But I also noticed her health getting better and better. This woman put on her makeup every single day. Every single day. She got up, she got dressed, and no matter what, even in the bed, when she was bedridden, she got up, she made her bed, she made her hair, she did her hair, she did her makeup. And I noticed when I would show up, she was requesting the people that she had helping her not help her. She rescheduled them, and she just wanted to spend time with me. So we started doing stuff together, like very simple things at first, like just cleaning a cupboard out together. And she was like, oh, let me help you. And I was like, absolutely, I'm spent here, I'm tired, and little by little, we just became such good friends that I noticed that she started being at ease. Like, when I would show up, her arms would be very tight. And within minutes of me showing up to help her hang out and have fun, we'd turn on the music and drink sherry. Like, anyway, her hands would just not relax completely, but they wouldn't seize. She would have range of motion. And so I was already working in the fitness field. I was already a kickboxing instructor at the time. And so she was, just kind of inspiring me, like, what do you want to do more? And I was like, oh, I'd like to work in a bigger gym where it's all men and women, because I like the fellas and, that sort of thing. And she's like, oh, you can do anything. And the job that I had at the gym was sold, and it went to a different owner, and wasn't going well. It wasn't right for me. So I knew I had to go somewhere else, which has a fantastic story of itself. It's how I ended up at Absolute Health Club in New Minas, which is the best thing ever. I mean, this is why I want to reopen a gym, because I can't live without the gym for a zillion reasons. So me and Ruby, I notice Ruby's not staying in bed. Like, she's getting up, she's going to her wheelchair, she's doing so much more on her own. I'm like, wow. And she starts telling me it's me. And I'm like, no, it's just you. I don't tell you what you can't do. I support what you think You can't, what you think you can do. So I'm going to say that again. We realized in our love of each other that we could support each other in everything that we thought that we could do. So we started teaching each other stuff, you know. She used to be a nurse. She worked in the hospital. She was in health and wellness. She knew everything that was wrong with it. She knew this. And, now I'm a housekeeper and I'm caring for her. And I just became engaged. So I knew there was something more for me because she supported that in me. So long story short, Ruby Maxine Campbell started walking after a lot of years. Like I don't know how many it was. I mean, we'll just say it was 10 years. Bedridden for 10 years. Walking with a wheelchair. Walking on her own. Again. My friends, that is why I have a tattoo on my chest that says freedom. So then I had to figure out for a lot of years, why did Ruby get free of her disease when she changed her mind? And then I thought, I think about all the things that we did. I became a yoga teacher, breath and meditation teacher, a personal trainer, like within 2 years, because I was so inspired by my childhood. There's another story in there about my, a person that filled a father figure role that was also an amputee. And I'm going to talk a lot about him because it really made me who I am at the end of the day. But Ruby, walking, and people would see her and they'd be like, they couldn't even believe it. They'd be like, Ruby, and they would like notice it. So Ruby started calling me her right-hand angel. And it inspired me to get a full-time job at one of the biggest gyms in where I lived. I got to work with my old team from Curves, which was so exciting. So I didn't go into this new career alone. My manager at Curves actually went with me. She's a pivotal person as well. A lot of this is going to be confidential, but I hope she knows who she is. And we continued fitness together from this bigger fitness facility. And Ruby really was my cheerleader. She was the cheerleader that says, you can do this, go for it, go for it, go for it, And so after Ruby became walking Ruby, I was a personal trainer. I was doing the yoga, breath, and meditation. Things were going better for Ruby. She was super healthy. And one of our pivotal points, and I was inspired this morning by a video of another friend that has a first aid company. She posted this video that triggered my Ruby trigger, and it was a little boy dancing. He was in a wheelchair. His dance partner took him out, and they did a duet dance, and it just inspired me, and that reminder of Ruby. And how when she was walking, I was her trainer then. I became her housekeeper / personal trainer. And so I give her exercises. She just got stronger and stronger and kept walking. And so I was like, Ruby, what do you want to learn? And she loved the Black Eyed Peas. And she wanted to, no word of a lie, this woman that could barely walk, but she was walking, wanted to learn a choreographed dance that she's seen on Oprah to the Black Eyed Peas. It's going to be a good day. So Natasha was challenged so bad. It took me weeks to learn this dance. Then I taught it to her and we did it together, and oh my God, we laughed and we had so much fun. So Ruby Maxine Campbell, if Ruby had the cozy cushion, it is in my humble opinion, from being her friend, being her right-hand angel, she would still be here today. She's not, because health you know, her health just didn't last as long as we needed her here. And that's been recent. That's another reason I need the cozy cushion, is because I went through COVID and grief, and I needed a place to go where I could celebrate Ruby, and I miss my gym. So, and then that brings me my mentor, because the reason I'm here talking to you today about the cozy cushion, some of you already know this, I'm a huge Oprah fan, and I've been inspired by Oprah. But on Oprah, I watched a show with my mentor and heart friend. So I love this guy. Love this guy. And I encourage you to watch and learn about who he is too. He passed as well during COVID. So he, you know, I lost Ruby and I lost Sean at the same time. Sean Clench Stevenson. Let me tell you about my Sean. He's not actually mine. He's Mindy's Sean. I don't know him personally. When I met Sean Stevenson, he was a motivational speaker, and I want to be a motivational speaker. Or I always did. It was part of my journey that's brought me here. And so Sean Clench Stevenson, he's a writer. He suffers from osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bone disease. And me and Ruby both loved him. And he's an author. He worked at the White House, and he made me completely understand my life purpose, my full-time purpose of teaching, empowering, engaging, enhancing, and educating each other, all under one roof. One roof, the cozy cushion. We're going to get cozy, we're going to love each other, we're going to grow together, and we're going to get mentally and physically strong. Thank you, friends, for listening to everything I've had to say. You can find me on Facebook at The Cozy Cushion. You can send me a private message if you would like a spiritual reading. If you have any questions about the readings, just ask. There's a couple different ones that you could choose from, as well as my YouTube page. I'm going to do the YouTube so you can follow along and listen to me as much or as little as you want. As well as if any of you ever have a testimonial or would like to say a kind word, I encourage you to send me an email at thecozycushion@gmail.com, and I will give you a special treat if you do that, because it would be muchly appreciated. And I just like to have the testimonials, because I'm going to be reading a few of them actually in a few other videos as we grow into the creation of this fantastic nature gym. I don't know. Gotta dream big, friends. I love you. Thank you so much. Namaste.